guys, welcome to another edition of Boxtalk. I'm at the lovely, swanky Dorchester Hotel on Park Lane for the announcement of a heavyweight title fight between Anthony Joshua and Charles Martin, the current IBF heavyweight champion. This goes down at the O2, 9th of April. Eddie Hearn mentioned that this could have sold out Wembley. Was there any ever discussions maybe about going there?
To Wembley?
Yeah.
I think it certainly could have been a fight that would have sold Wembley, or certainly got very close to, I think, to the numbers that Froch and Groves got.
Yeah.
I know that the O2 had been booked for April the 9th, and I think that the fight had to be made sooner rather than later because of Charles Martin. So obviously we saw what happened with Martin and Glazkov in January, which we went over for. I think the idea was that AJ was going to fight Glazkov, and that was already a done deal. And then when Martin came in and obviously won in that sort of strange fight, obviously things changed, and then there was talk of Joshua going in with the likes of Chisora or Alex Scott or something like that. But I think that Martin is a fantastic fight at the right time. But yeah, I think it could have gone to a bigger, could easily have gone if it was sold out in 90 seconds to a bigger stadium. But listen, it's happening in April, and it's going to be huge enough.
How easy was it to get Martin? We saw the Martin Glazkov post-fight press conference. Derek Chisora called him out. Tyson Fury said he wouldn't mind getting his belt back. Was it easy to secure Martin?
Well, Charles Martin called Anthony Joshua out. I think that's what really started it off. I think the idea was maybe after what happened with Dylan White was to give Joshua, a slightly steadier rise towards the world title shots. But in this game you've got to take opportunities. Risk bring rewards, and I think that Anthony Joshua can beat Charles Martin. But Martin he's a bit of an unknown candidate quality. He's unbeaten. He hasn't beaten much, but he is unbeaten, and he's dangerous. And he comes from good stock. He's around good people, and Henry Tillman, Abel Sanchez up in Big Bear. So and he's a 6'5" southpaw.
He's a big guy.
And Joshua's never fought a southpaw as a pro. So all of those is tricky. But I think if you take the IBF belt away and you looked at Charles Martin as an opponent for Anthony Joshua, you'd say, okay, listen, they're both young, hungry, undefeated, rather untested fighters. So I just think it's a really good match, and I think it's probably come at the right time for Joshua.
I just interviewed Martin. He was very honest, and he said, look, after the Glazkov performance, I too need to prove myself something
Yes, he does.
well. Yeah, I won the IBF heavyweight title on a technical decision. Really, it was a funny decision, but he won it regardless. He's heavyweight champion. Did he still have something to prove as well himself?
I think he would have won that fight anyway. Actually, I think he was on top for the first couple of rounds. So I think he would have gone on to dominate. I like the look of him actually in that fight. And I've seen plenty of Martin before off tape, and to me he's looked a little bit slow, but I thought he was really sharp. And I think that becoming world heavyweight champion will just push him on even further. And you wonder whether he's coming to Britain, for this first defence. You wonder if it is sort of money orientated. But the guy's come over. He's oozing confidence.
He does.
I really like. I've been around him the last couple of days, and I really like the feel. I think he wants to come and make a statement. He comes from a tough upbringing, in St. Louis. He's not had things easy. He's had to fight for this position, and I don't think he wants to give it up. And I don't think he thinks Joshua is much of a threat. I think he thinks he's decent, but he's obviously, everyone saw the Dylan White second round, and I think that if there are chinks in the armour, Martin will feel that he can take them out and knock him out. I don't think there's any problem about Martin's confidence, but Joshua has got incredible skills. He's got incredible following. It's a huge snowballing story, and if the risk does come off on April the 9th, then the rewards are massive. I think it becomes stratospheric, I think, for Joshua, but it's a big gamble.
Boxing, obviously you're head of boxing. Is Joshua Britain's biggest boxing star right now?
Yes, without a doubt. I don't think there's any question about that. Tyson Fury holds the world heavyweight title. Tyson Fury had the performance of many years when he beat Vladimir Klitschko. But the public love Anthony Joshua. Whether it's your mum or your dad or your sister or your girlfriend, they all love him. There's something about being at a Joshua fight which is an experience. He's got a great charm and ease with people. He's devastating in the ring with his 50 knockouts, and of course with the Olympic gold medal around his neck as well. He was huge from London 2012. So I think Anthony Joshua is definitely the biggest star in British boxing at the moment. But he's got to still prove it in the ring at world level. Fury's a world champion and one of 12 British world champions. Joshua's not there yet. Yes, I think he'll get there, but he's not there yet. So I can only see this building. But as I said again, it is a risk on April the 9th, and it is a risk that obviously the Matchroom team and Eddie Hearn believe will come off for Joshua. Joshua, but Charles Martin and his team firmly believe they made a big mistake.
We've seen what's going on in America at the moment with Deontay Wilder, the WBC champion. People say he's not fighting the fights we really want to see. Is there a danger of AJ winning the IBF title when they're not fighting the guys in and around him, the Luis Ortizes, the Povetkin's of the world?
I think what's great about the heavyweight division now is the unpredictability. You know, it's a volatile division. You know, I think when the Klitschko's are ruling, and there were wonderful athletes and wonderful sort of examples to young sportsmen, but you know, come on, the division was dull, and I think it needed an injection. It needed the Americans. You've got Deontay Wilder, who's a great talker, who's got huge power. You've got this Charles Martin now. As you said, you've got Luis Ortiz, you've got Alexander Povetkin still in the wings, you've got Joshua, you've got Fury, you've got David Haye coming back. It's fabulous, and I think the key is that on any one given night, you're not quite sure who's going to beat who. So I think that's going to be the beauty over the next 12 to 18 months. It'll be fascinating to see who is really going to be that last man standing. But I think if Joshua does win this world title, they don't want to put him in with, I wouldn't personally put him in with the most dangerous guys straight away. I think, you know, this is a risk they've got to take. If they get this, I think they should be looking for, you know, certainly one, if not two, more comfortable defences before they throw him in with the likes of a Haye or a Fury. I think, for me, David Haye and Anthony Joshua is the big fight. And I think if they both remain in Haye's comeback undefeated, Joshua undefeated, there's a world title on the line, summer 2017, I think that goes through the roof.
Am I allowed to ask you a prediction for this fight? How do you think this fight plays out?
Difficult to call a prediction, obviously, as a broadcaster, but I believe that Anthony Joshua is right to take this fight. I think that we don't know enough about Charles Martin. What we do know is that he provides youth, danger, and a southpaw style in a ring, which is going to be a different obstacle for Joshua to deal with. But I've got confidence in Anthony Joshua. I believe that he is, as I said, British boxing's leading star at the moment, but I think he can become one of British sport's biggest stars of the future, and I think the timing could be spot on for Anthony Joshua to be crowned world heavyweight champion on April the 9th. But I will repeat, it is a gamble, and it is a risk.
Gamble worth taking.
It's a risky business.
There you go. Adam Smith, Sky Sports. Thanks a lot.